welcome to the channel where it's been quite a while since we were able to sit here and have our break time after a day's work. And that, of course, is because for the first time in a long time, we haven't been occupying two parking spots in the garage. That's because we finally have all the pieces together, and although we're not quite there, we're very close. We put in a lot of hard hours to get to this point, and all but about 3 inches roughly of the car is actually mated now to the sedan. And you can see here where the quarter panel still has a gap, and that is, here, I'll come around here so you can see, because we haven't actually cut out the trunk rails yet from the convertible to set them down inside the breezeway here. So if you caught the last video, you'll remember maybe that the inside rail on the breezeway is actually a hair further out. As you can see, as I go over top, it just totally vanishes. And as well on the other side, it's a little bit narrower, the convertible. So we have to do a relief cut and move this in. We finally come to the conclusion that we're actually going to nip these because we need to do the repair here and cut the other rails so that we can make the connection here when we get it in. The back rail also needs some repair, but we're going to get it established first and get the trunk fit. The majority of this panel actually is going to disappear because we want to save the quarter panel from the breezeway because it's in good shape. You can see there are no more convertible tubs. We actually wound up removing the tubs and relieving all the brackets. Once this comes down the last few inches here, those brackets are starting to line up really nicely to hit the breezeway tubs. We've had a pretty big discussion about the tubs, and here of course is one of the convertible tubs. Of course, it's got that crushed area where the convertible top rests. We were going to cut this out and weld them. The other one's over there, a little hard to see under there. We were going to cut them out and weld them into the tops of the breezeway tubs, or four-door tubs. You can see a little clearer over there. But we've actually had a discussion about it, and I mean, you can see these are in extremely good shape. So we're talking about making a die that replicates the crush that they did on it originally in the factory on the convertible, and probably applying a little bit of heat because I know it takes a lot of force to push these down, but we think we're going to be able to replicate it. We're working on creating a metal template so that it can guide us as to the depth that we need to do this at, and we think we can pull that off. We can utilize the hoist to get a little more pressure, and again, probably a little bit of heat. But I know this doesn't look complete yet, but you kind of get a good idea what this is starting to look like. And we've run a straight line down the side, and actually it is actually quite true. I will say that you know, you can mock the assembly that took place back in 1963, but considering these two cars were actually made at two different plants, it's actually pretty impressive that the panels actually line up as well as they do. Here's the back braces here. Those have to go down a little further, of course, and then they'll hit that back rest there and be spot welded into there. The braces at the front of the tubs there lined up absolutely perfectly, so these will be able to get spot welded directly to them. We had to relieve the rocker panels in the four-door sedan to accommodate the brackets for the convertible, so they go down and they actually hit the inner rocker. So we did that on the back there as well as down here on the front so that we could actually set this quarter panel in. Once this lands, I'll get a bit further away so you can see. This whole panel is all we really need to add to the back of this to make this all work. We ran into one major problem, and as badly as we did not want to do it, we had to remove the X brace that we had put in the front of our framework, and we had to unbolt the front of the this A pillar and windshield in order to actually set it in. But the fitment is actually really good all the way along. The firewall actually basically popped right into place like we had hoped, and the seams are right on the money where the two cars actually were together. You can see, well, of course, that's all the spot welds that we've removed and that. But this front section is hitting the rocker on the money. See, this other side is basically the same thing. This brace was pretty much useless. It was rotted all the way. But this brace is in good shape, and it's right tight up against the inner rocker down there where it would have been in the convertible rocker as well. It was a really good day. We wanted to hit this all the way down on top of the car, but it just well, I'll insert the number of a handful of the times anyways that it's gone up and down, and it certainly is not done going up and down. We still have to get the tunnel from the convertible fit into here, so of course the body will be going back up again. And well, there's a few more things. There's a couple of little bracket pieces we need to sort out in that, but for the most part, this is actually starting to look like a car again, because it is actually in fact one piece, and it does resemble the well, the car we started with. It just has a lot better bones now and a much better floor and trunk area than it did when the car originally arrived. This was definitely not what we thought we were going to be doing with this project, but it is going to be, I would say it's going to be 5 times the car that it started out as, both in condition, of course, is going to be much more solid with some of the extra bracing that'll exist that wasn't factory. The 390 engine is definitely going to give the car a little more performance, and the components are just in such good shape that this should be a really good car when we're all done. The boys put in another really good hard day, a couple of days actually. It was a couple of half days we did, but for us to get it to this point, I mean, I couldn't do this without them, that's for sure. So this is sort of an in-between video. The next video, we should be looking at these two mated all the way to one another. We'll have a few more of these details sorted out. We've got to work out the rocker here, of course, and the placement of the sill plate. But it is coming along, I would say, very well. This is starting to look pretty good. Again, I can't thank the guys enough, because one person could do this, but certainly it's not an easy task for one person. Sorry, the heater I had to kick on. It's just starting to get chilly here in Niagara, and just enough that run a little heat to take the chill out of it. I ran out here for a quick cleanup. I just want to let some of the viewers know, where I'll get away from the light here. We really appreciate all the input that we receive, and whether that input is just thanking us for moving along on the project, or giving us a little bit of support to say, hey, that's looking good and all that, that is absolutely great. We appreciate all comments, and most definitely we appreciate the comments from some of the insight of guys from the trade and people that worked at the Ford plants back in the day, because We read them, and we definitely take the advice seriously, because there's a lot of smart people out there, and for us, this is a first-time job. Those who mentioned the Cold War motors, we'd never heard of them before, and we actually looked them up, and just saw recently that they're actually doing a 60 Impala two-door splice onto a four-door Biscayne, and that is so close to what we're doing here that kind of blew my mind actually when I was watching. I was like, okay, so we're not the only crazy people that tackle these kinds of projects. So again, thanks for all the support. Like, subscribe, and share, and there's a lot more coming. Of course, there's going to be so many hours of welding. We probably won't be bothering to show you all of that, but we'll try to keep the content coming. And once this thing's plugged together, well, then it's going to, of course, come all apart, and we're going to get into the blasting phase, and engine disassembly and suspension disassembly, because of course all this lower part of the sedan has to all come apart that we started, but of course we hit the brakes when we reached this point, because we put it back on the frame to get this all lined up. Yeah, for the time being, this is kind of an in-between video. I was hoping it was going to be all the way down on the other body by this point, but we did not get to that point. But we did get our brake area. I mean, you gotta like that. Now we can actually sit in here and admire all our hard work. I had a beer and I can't find my beer. See? This is only my first beer. It's not like I could even blame it for drinking. So anyways, cheers to y'all, and thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and thanks for watching, of course, and have a great day.